Good morning. Welcome to Spiritual Insights for Everyday Life. My name is Lee Woofenden, and our topic for today is, do we remember our loved ones who go to hell? This was a question asked by a reader of our blog. His name is Max, and there was a whole series of questions. You can read the whole thing if you follow the link in the description to the much longer written version. But for now, I want to give you the shorter version of this question, which is a difficult one, because if someone we love ends out in hell, we still love them, and it's painful for us to think of them living in hell. And ironically enough, on the other side, it would actually be painful for them to have any contact with us. So this is not just a simple question, it's a difficult one, but it's one to which there are real answers, and they are human answers. They're based on who we are and how we function as human beings. If you think about perhaps people in your own family or friends that you had many years ago who went in a very different direction than you did, you may or may not think about them much anymore because you have your life now, you're living with the people that you're in connection with now, and those people are in your past. So it's not that you can't think about them, it's more that you don't really think about those old acquaintances all that much once you no longer have an active relationship with them. Or if you do, perhaps it's because the ones that you have a relationship with right now are not the ones that you would rather be with. But of course in heaven, you're with exactly the people that you're with, because heaven is a realm of love where we're with the people we love and we're close to them, and we're far away from the people that we don't love or that don't love us, or that have chosen a very different life than we have. And this is an important point to make, and it's contrary to what many people believe about heaven and hell, and that is that both of them are voluntary, completely voluntary on our part. No one is actually sent to hell. People go to hell because that is what they have chosen. And we choose hell when we choose to live a selfish and greedy life here on earth, where we care only about ourselves, only about our own money and power, and we don't care about other people, we don't care about who we step on to get them. And this is the kind of life that leads us to hell. And really, when we make the choice to live that way, we are choosing hell. And in the afterlife, according to Emanuel Swedenborg, God or the devil doesn't send us to hell. Instead, once it becomes very clear to ourselves and everyone else exactly what sort of person we are, we see a path that leads to hell, and we willingly follow it because it's going toward the things that we love. The sorts of things that we love, the greedy and selfish things that we love, the terrible things we love, those are the things that exist in hell. And if we were to go to heaven, it would actually be painful to us because the atmosphere of love and light there is contrary to the hatred and anger that we feel in our heart toward anyone who doesn't go along with us and serve us. So hell is not some arbitrary thing where you broke God's commandments and therefore God sends you down to hell. Hell is when we choose a selfish and greedy and self-centered life that has nothing to do with doing anything for anybody else unless we see benefit in it to ourselves. And when we choose that life, we have chosen hell. Now, when you think about this in terms of perhaps a family member who's gone bad in this earth, how do we treat those people? It's a very difficult thing because sometimes no matter how much we reach out to them, no matter how much we try to stage an intervention, they persistently choose to live the destructive and even criminal life that they've chosen. And there's really nothing we can do about it because we are human beings. We have the choice of how we're going to run our lives and what sort of person we're going to be, and no one from the outside can change that. Of course, some people will come around when they realize that other people do love and care about them, but others won't. They will persistently, no matter how much love you show to them, continue in their destructive type of life. And in fact, it's similar to what Jesus said when he said, don't throw your pearls before pigs, because if you do, they'll trample on them and they will turn around and tear you to pieces. What happens when you continue in relationship with people who've really chosen destructive life is not that you fix them, but they start dragging you down into their life, and it becomes very toxic. And this is why sometimes we have to make the very difficult decision to cut off people who we once cared about and loved, because we can no longer have a relationship with them, because if we do, they're only going to use it as hooks to drag us down and to take advantage of us. This is especially true in the case of abusive partners. It's very common for people who've had somebody who's physically or verbally or both abused them to have to cut that person off completely in order to not be dragged down into that old life of verbal and physical abuse again. So it's not an easy thing, but life is human. Life is not necessarily easy. Sometimes we have to make the very difficult choices. And this is the choice that, especially in the afterlife, people who are heading to heaven must make. We must recognize that there are some people who have chosen the other path. They've chosen the path that leads downwards, and there's not anything we can do about it. And continuing to have a relationship with that person is only going to cause pain, both for us and for them. For us, because it's painful to see people living a self-destructive and destructive type of life. And for them, because the atmosphere of love and light around us is actually painful for people who have chosen evil and selfishness. And so it's not so much that we can't remember our loved ones who have gone to hell, but we choose not to, and over time the memory fades, because otherwise it would be very painful both for us and for them. And so it's a merciful thing that eventually we cease to think of them as mother or father or sister or brother or son or daughter. Instead, their memory fades from our mind, because now we're involved in our own very happy and useful and active life that we're focused on now. Because in heaven, everyone is living in the present. They're not dwelling on the past. They're not worrying about the past. They're not worrying about the future. They're living their present, very happy life. And having to always think about loved ones who made the other choice would drag that down. It would make us difficult to enjoy the kind of life that we have chosen, and also for them to enjoy, such as it is, the self-destructive life that they have chosen. So this is not necessarily the popular or politically correct answer, but I believe it is the true answer based on the realities of human life and psychology. That it's not that we can't remember those who have gone bad, it's that it's better to choose not to and to let them fade into our past, because they've made their choice. There's nothing we can do about it. They've made their life, and now it's time for us to move on and live our life with the people who have chosen to be fellow travelers with us in this life and in the next. So I hope you found this helpful, and I wish you Godspeed on your spiritual journey.